Welcome to the Media Nerds Podcast. I'm Dan Vedabonker.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
Kenton, I want to start the podcast today by talking about something local. We had the Winnipeg Folk Festival announce their lineup this week. Do you go to the Folk Fest, or do you just go when there's somebody that you want to see?
I go when there's somebody I really want to see, or a group of artists who I like who are playing on the same day.
So of the lineup this year, is there somebody you want to see?
Yes, there is one performer that I want to see. And that performer for me is the grand headliner of the fest. Though on the poster, this performer's like, okay, above the fold, so a little bit higher up, but definitely the font size is not the size that I would make it. And that is British folk and rock and roll singer Billy Bragg.
You're right. He's right there, but it's so small.
It's small.
I didn't even notice him. I'm like, oh my God. Well, Monsters and Men to me seems like the biggest. I mean, they were kind of the first band and probably the most well-known group. And of course, we've also Father John Misty is pretty well known as well. Like, that's a really good lineup. But yeah, Billy Bragg, I didn't even know they buried him.
See, Father John Misty, I love, but I've seen him. I saw him play that Interstellar Rodeo show in Winnipeg that one year he played it. And there, like, it was like a small, it was, you know, like it was easy to see him and it was great. So I don't feel the push with it. Whereas Billy Bragg, I've seen many times too, but this could be, we're not seeing as many UK artists coming through town like we used to. So every time one of those artists like sort of comes through, it's like it could be the last time they decide to tour through Canada. So I sort of feel compelled to go see it for that reason. How about you?
Well, what is this? I would want to go see Of Monsters and Men. That's the one. Like, if I go, that I'm going to go on that day. I'm looking at this thing. It says time fades away. Neil Young at 80 with special guests. What does that mean?
It's a tribute to, I believe.
Okay.
If it were actually Neil Young, and by the way, they should clarify that.
Yeah.
I think people will get confused. I think it is a tribute, and maybe, for all we know, they could be working on a surprise appearance or something like that of Neil Young. And if he actually shows up, that'd be amazing. But what are we talking about here? You know, or just, I don't know.
I think that Neil Young is probably the most rumored person to show up at a festival. I remember back in 1995 when Pearl Jam came to Sunfest. Do you remember that? Yeah. There were rumors that Neil Young was there. I stuck around till the very end on Sunday night because we thought Neil Young was going to show.
Yeah.
And because he was touring with Pearl Jam at the time, so I guess we thought they were friends. Pearl Jam did do a cover of Keep on Rockin' in the Free World. That was awesome. But this is definitely very misleading. Neil Young at 80 means that I feel like I'm going to see an 80-year-old Neil Young there, which I don't think I will.
They should. Yeah, they need a qualifier on that, like tribute. Or unless he really is going to be there, like, I don't know, like
this one name on this list, if he's going to be there, that's kind of ridiculous too.
Yeah, then that goes at the very top of the poster in giant font, unless they have, unless their font choices are just bad across the board, which could be their font size choices.
Well, I remember, actually, I have a little bit of inside information here. A number of years ago, I did work with Winnipeg Folk Festival when I worked at an ad agency. I was at McKim, and so I was on their account. And I remember actually McKim developing kind of that poster style that they now use, which is a bunch of all the artists on the thing. And I remember them saying, like, we don't want there to seem like there's one act that we value above the others. We want there to be like tiers of artists for sure, but it's like all of these kind of top ones are the same level as what they're trying to imply. And then the smaller ones are all at the same level and that kind of stuff. That's what they're getting at the time. I don't know if that's still a thing, but that's kind of what it seems to me that they're trying to do.
Every year you see weird lineup orders and font choices in all the festivals. Coachella, maybe even most famously, where you'll see like Coachella, which was once the indie festival, and now who knows what it is, the pop festival. But you'll see like Beyonce in giant letters for an indie festival. So you're like, okay. And then the next one, I remember when Lou Reed was scheduled to play Coachella, which he never did because of his illness. But I remember it was like he's like midway down the lineup or something, and you're like, Lou Reed is like a legend. Why are you putting him down there? Like, so there's one of the fun things about all these festival posters is questioning like who they say is the big act.
How did they frame Elvis Costello when he came here? Do you remember?
He had his own special night.
Oh, okay.
Like, once in a while, the Folk Fest is on a Wednesday.
Right.
And so he had his own Wednesday show. I can't remember. I don't even know if somebody opened for him, but it was just like an easy, like, yeah, you can have your own because you're a big enough draw. I think
Yeah.
that happened a few times. I can't remember who the other ones were, but yeah, I think he's not the only one that happened with, but
Cool.
when you and the other thing is it's a folk fest. And so sometimes there's like a rock and roller on the folk fest or other. And then it's kind of like, well, does the folk fest reward the folk artists up at the top, or does it is like a giant of rock? Should the giant of rock be at the top of
Right.
the folk fest? So I think there's that element too.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if I'm going to go or not. I haven't decided.
Yeah, I will. I'll go see Billy Bragg, assuming that I can buy. Like, I've never had a problem getting tickets to a single day of the folk fest, and I don't imagine that I will. But and the other thing that some people want to do, and it's a good decision, is check out what the weather forecast is.
Yeah.
Like the week going into it, because that's famously the week it rains a lot, or it often does.
Think music, the best music. Midnight at the Oasis.
They call me Mellow Yellow, quite frankly.
Maria Muldaur, Donovan, Ladysmith Black Mambaza, and David Lindley in El Rayoex at this year's Winnipeg Folk Festival. Order your tickets today at any Bass Ticket outlet.
We're going to talk about movies today, the movie industry, or even just kind of film industry. They're talking about the big merger that was meant to go through. It was supposed to be Netflix buying Warner Brothers, has been changed. Now they're going to allow Paramount to absorb Warner Brothers. And so those two companies are going to merge. Do you know why it was? What was the reason given that they didn't go with Netflix?
I don't know. I don't think they gave a reason. They just, I guess the terms weren't to their liking. I think it's that simple.
Interesting. But basically, this just means that two very similar companies are merging. So they're all the Warner Brothers content will now become Paramount content. And so they say they're going to continue operating it as Warner Brothers. I don't know how long that's going to last, right? Will they just kind of get rid of that brand and just make everything Paramount at some point? But the other thing about it is, and then what we're talking about today is the streaming services that Paramount owns and Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers owns HBO Max, which is licensed in Canada by Crave, and now Paramount owns Paramount Plus, which is a completely different streaming service in Canada as well as the US. So does this mean these two streaming services are going to merge together into, like, I assume, Paramount Plus, or are they going to keep it as it is and continue things going the way they are? I know the article is basically about the uncertainty of, like, they have talked to people at Bell. They got these kind of canned responses from Bell saying, we're happy with the relationship and that it's going to continue for the foreseeable future. But they really have no idea, right? Like, Paramount could come in and cancel this and say, no, we're not going to license this content to you. And then they don't have HBO anymore. And that's a huge deal for Crave because that's kind of their thing. Like, I want to say Crave is the only Canadian streaming service that's viable. And it's only because they have the HBO content, right?
That's the reason. That's the reason why most people have it. Is
Right.
For that. And if that, like, Canadians were accustomed for most of their lives not having HBO, and it was like a kind of a running joke. And then Shaw would call me and say, well, hey, are you happy with your cable package? Which just means they're trying to sell you some more stuff to add. And I'd say, until you have HBO, I will. No, there's nothing else that I want. And they'd go, and then the poor salesperson who I was talking to would always go, what's that? And I'd go, it's a network, and it's called Home Box Office, and it's got shows like The Sopranos on it. And I'd explain, and they'd go, like they just want to sell you something now is all they want.
Of course.
So I would say it every single time, and every time I would get nothing in return. So when it finally came, I was like, well, I got to put the money where my mouth is. And so I got it. I signed right up. and it sort of changed. Like I used to buy, believe it or not, I used to buy HBO shows on eBay from people who recorded them onto VHS tapes.
Wow.
Yeah, like that's how long I was like watching HBO content that way. And I think it started like 6 Feet Under and The Sopranos were the first ones where I'm like, this is intolerable. Like and it was before you could get pirate stuff online or anything there, that was hard to do. Like it would take 6 weeks to download one episode kind of thing. So I was like, okay, so I did it. And I watched them that way, and that was like, it wasn't the best way to watch stuff ever, but it got the job done. So I was like, so I was up to date. And then when we finally got HBO for the final 2 seasons of The Sopranos or whatever it was, it's kind of like, oh, good, I'm all caught up, but I could just like watch the final 2 seasons. So I think Canadians have developed an addiction to it probably, and they like seeing it there. And I think if it got taken away, I do think like the first thing I do is log into my Shaw account now that I know how to do that. And I would select HBO and I would axe it because it's $20 a month.
It is. The other thing that we should notice that, and I noticed this when I went into my CTV app recently, is that they're migrating all the CTV content over to Crave as well.
Yeah.
So all of the regular sitcoms. I think, okay, first of all, there's an ad-supported tier of Crave. Are you aware of this? Do you know there was an ad-supported version?
No, I don't think I knew that.
Okay, well, it's cheaper, so it's like $10 a month. My girlfriend gets it for free with her phone bill, like she's a Bell whatever customer, so she gets free ad-supported Crave. But for the longest time, she couldn't watch it because it didn't work with her Roku device. But now it does. They finally fixed that bug, so now she can watch Crave on her Roku. And so it is all the HBO stuff. But now they all are also trying to curate a number of other types of content. Like they've got really good new movie selection, I think, on Crave. They've done a good job of like curating movies. They try and grab the newer stuff when it comes out. So it's trying to be, I think, like that middle ground that video stores used to occupy, where it's like it's not, you're not seeing the theater, it's not to TV, it's running on TV or anything like that, or even the movie channel, but you can still see it like on Crave. I guess remember it used to be called like Hollywood something or other. Or that channel? They used to have a different name for it. Hollywood
Suite.
Hollywood Suite, yes. And it was all like the premium brand new movies before they would go to the streaming services, basically. Before it goes to Netflix, it would be there. So they've done a good job with that. But yeah, I think if you take away the HBO content, there's not a lot left. And so that platform would struggle, which begs the question, would any Canadian streaming service work without the support of American content? Like, I don't know that it's possible for any of these streaming services to do it.
Well, CBC Gem, I'm seeing enter the conversation more than it used to be. But it's still, it's still buggy. I hate it still signs you out every bloody time. It makes me crazy, and there doesn't appear to be any way to stop that. Its wish list, its watch list feature doesn't work very well. If God forbid you start watching something that you don't actually want to watch, because it'll be on your finished watching list forever. I don't think you can delete that. Well, maybe not on Apple TV where I have it, but who knows? So I think like CBC has an interesting start to something on Gem, and that is it has more British shows than you would necessarily think. And if it sort of fulfilled the role of BritBox for Canada, I think that could be interesting. I think maybe people would decide to fork over some money. But I like, who wants to watch Beachcombers reruns? Or
I do. Do they have Beachcombers on there?
Yeah, it's on there.
I'll watch the Beachcombers. Maybe I only want to watch an episode.
Dan, it's like 300 seasons, and Relic leaves after season 100.
I'm like, oh, I want to see Relic and
hey,
all those guys.
Your dreams have come true, because I do believe it's there. But I think, look, there's lots of, and so is King of Kensington has recently shown up there. And I haven't started, they have promos for it while you're watching other shows on CBC Gem. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I was sort of like, that's the last thing I want to see But when I saw the promo, I thought, okay, I'll probably should watch some of those and just remind myself what that was all about. But I think like there is such a thing. I think like it needs to be a Canadiana app that has everything. And so I think Gem is getting there, but the buggy things, and also they still can't place ads in their content to save their lives for some reason. Yeah, that's like one of the worst things about it. And the fact that it only has 5 ads and it just destroys you.
It's also government run. Like it's also the CBC, which is a public company. I don't think there's any private companies that can do this. Like I don't think like we had Show Me. Remember Show Me? That was I believe that was a Chorus or Roger. I don't remember which one did that. But that's like they have Stack TV. So Chorus has Stack TV, which I have no desire to watch. I don't know what. I see their ads. I'm like, only on Stack TV. I'm like, I don't want to watch that. I just have no desire. But that's their answer to it. Like that's what they're trying to do. Stack TV is basically all the channels that they own in one space. It's like Tubi or other live streaming channels where it's like you can just flip through them and watch them, but then you can also go in and get the on-demand stuff as well.
Yeah.
But like they're just not doing that. I don't know that there's enough people in Canada to support like an ad-supported system that way. And nobody wants to pay for more streaming services. Nobody wants to also pay for like Netflix, Disney Plus, and then also Crave and then Global or whatever the other ones are, right? Plus, we already feel like these should be free because they are broadcasting these shows for free over the air or over cable. So people have this idea that this content should be free anyway.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of an issue. Getting back to the Warner Brothers thing, I think another issue is that like they say that they're going to run Warner Brothers as an independent studio, but they're going to cut some of the double up somewhere. So it's all going to come down to like 1 or 2 people at the top that's going to approve everything, and that's going to make the movies coming out of the studio more generic and boring, right? They're not going to be putting out as many. Not that they've been putting out super great movies or anything like that, but I think it's going to get worse.
See, for HBO, it's all about quality control. It's so solid in terms, like last weekend, I watched the new Jason Bateman show on HBO called, hang on, called, I wrote it down, DTF St. Louis. DTF St. Louis. And you can't, DTF is not, part of the fun of the show is discovering what that means. So no spoilers, but DTF St. Louis, and David Harbour is in it, among others. And you watch the first episode and you're like, damn it, they did it again. It's interesting. It's funny. It's mysterious. It's it's weird and surprising. And yeah, like after the first episode, you're like, yeah, I gotta watch this. Like that's just like I kind of don't know what this is about yet, and I gotta keep watching because it's so cool or so interesting. And once again, like high quality, like the production of the whole production, super high quality. Like if that goes away, and like that's the promise of the HBO brand, if that goes away, then that's that.
So you're saying don't mess with it. Don't mess with what they're doing. Like they should keep it the same.
You might still brand it as HBO for high quality productions or like premium productions maybe. But it's tough because it can only unless they bring over the staff. Like I think they just want the content, the existing content.
Is this just about getting the content? Is this going to be like when Canadian Tire, for the Canadians listening in the audience, Canadian Tire bought Hudson's Bay Company, like the brand, which means they could just sell the blankets and the branded stuff for Hudson's Bay. The Bay doesn't exist anymore as a store, but the brand is what they wanted. They wanted the name. Created new products. Is this what this is? They just want the brand of Warner Brothers. They want all these movies, like Harry Potter is also Warner Brothers thing, Batman, all the DC stuff, like all these properties, all these like things they have, these franchises. Is that what they're looking for? Is this about the commodification of entertainment because they can sell these shows and these movies all over the world?
Yeah,
that way, right? Like they do with Crave, but then they're going to probably want to renegotiate a new deal with Crave and do something different, right? Or maybe another Canadian streamer will come in at that point. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I mean, everybody wants like big piles of content to then charge people a monthly fee to
Right.
watch. And but and if that's all it is, and if that's the case, like I'm caught up with what I want to watch on HBO. Like I've spent my entire life kind of catching up with that and continuing to watch the good stuff that comes along, like White Lotus, for instance. But my guess is they'd continue some brands like White Lotus, or like stuff that sort of continues. It gives us, keeps giving back in terms of each season grows with popularity, sort of thing. That wouldn't surprise me if they keep doing something like that. But the
Yeah.
second the quality starts to wane, then they'll jump ship,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
that's the HBO subscriber.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and they're used to like they'll pay for the subscription, but they're used to having good TV, right? To
Yeah.
lose, and that's what they built for that. And so, yeah, I mean, this is like, I do think we're going to end up having that. That's going to happen. They're going to end up watering that down, cutting back. They cannot like the financial model of making money with movies is broken. I think I don't know that these streaming platforms are the way to do it. I would love to see them go back to theaters, but that seems to be also be a hard sell. Like people are not wanting to go to the theater. Like even
No.
I promised myself I was going to go to the theater more, and I haven't, and I've had a hard time. Mostly because there's not enough movies out there to motivate me to want to go, but also because the movies I want to see are not playing near me. That's also an issue where, so this is like the bit of the problem as well. The worry is funny when Netflix was going to buy Warner Brothers. The worry was that they're never not going to release anything in theaters anymore. I don't know if that's still the worry because Paramount still will release things in theaters, but they
Yeah.
also will do direct to Paramount Plus, which they've done with a number of things, right? So, but I think they're probably going to want to add all this stuff to Paramount Plus. They're going to have an HBO section. It's going to be like in Disney Plus. When you have
Maybe.
that Star, oh, not Star, it's Hulu now. But they have that
Yeah.
little section of like, this is Disney, this is more adult stuff or whatever. And they're going to have the HBO section on the Paramount Plus app, is what's going to happen.
Yeah, maybe. That's the model for how that would work. So, but yeah, like that's possible that's what happens. Like I haven't I think I used my 7-day Paramount Plus subscription like years ago. I don't think I have any free anything left. And I would not, like, there's nothing on it as, like, I think I made a list once of things I would watch on Paramount Plus if I ever got it after my free trial. Cause I was like, once you get to critical mass of having enough to watch, then it might be worth it. Right. So I had my running list, and it just got to the point where I was like, I actually don't want to watch any of this stuff. And one of the things on the list was Frasier, the Frasier reboot. And I was like, yeah, it's been a long time since we saw Frasier. That might be good to see. And then I see the reviews, and everyone's like, what a piece of garbage. It's no good. It's like, it's not even close to the quality of the old stuff, kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to see that then. And, so at this point, that's what I had to do to see new, same quality HBO content, then I would do that.
Yeah.
But if it's old, no, I won't do it. And if the quality isn't up to snuff, then no.
I'm just it's their whole Yellowstone universe is what they're building. Oh, I run this lot, right? They've got all those there's a new one coming out actually. It's on an ad for a new one, the next chapter of the Yellowstone saga or whatever. And I don't remember what time period it takes place in, but it is also related to all those other Yellowstone shows that are on Paramount Plus and also on Netflix. By the way, they seem to have this licensing deal where they'll sell to Netflix for a while as well. But the new episodes are on Paramount Plus. Plus Landman, as we've talked about, is another very American focused, American centric, which is not appealing to me. The only thing that I would ever subscribe to Paramount Plus for is the Star Trek content. That's it.
Right.
Like that's really it. And so, I mean, I would rather just own the old series on DVD and watch it that way. All those Star Trek series are there. It's also Star Trek is also in a couple different places. So you don't need to go there for it. But I suspect they're going to start reining that in a bit and become more proprietary with their content. But yeah, that's it. That's the only reason. And if they say they do add the HBO stuff, it's probably just going to go into rotation of my like, okay, then this is my premium channel for the month. I'm going to do the same thing I do now. Subscribe to HBO so I can catch up on the Pit and then cancel at the end of the month. So it's not going to really change anything. I still have not gone back to Paramount Plus after, again, I did the same thing years and years ago. I did the free trial. There was nothing on it at the time. I remember thinking, this is useless. They shouldn't have even launched this platform yet because there was not nearly enough shows or movies on it. Now there is, I'm sure, but I just don't have any desire to go back to that one.
No, me neither. Me neither. And I also wasn't a big fan of the way the menu worked and the way it was organized and et cetera, et cetera. Like on that, I'm sure that's probably better now too. But yeah,
it just never gets fixed. Like Crave is still really bad, has a really bad interface.
Oh,
they've never, like, that kind of stuff is really difficult. And yeah, I don't know. They don't seem to do it.
Crave does a terrible job telling subscribers what's new and when. And even when I go online and check, it's kind of like it's questionable. Sometimes HBO stuff is not released here when they say it's going to be. Like the regular shows always are, but there's the occasional special or like comedy special or something like that, and then for no reason it doesn't show up in Canada at first. That still happens. There's still a few things like that that are irritating. And sometimes like is the Pit is on Crave, but the Pit's not HBO. And so they
is it Max?
this is the weird thing about it. On my TV, it says The Pit on USA Network on Thursday. I'm like, what the F? I'm like, and apparently I have this network. So I tried to record it one week just to see what it is. And the recording didn't work properly.
Oh.
So I was like, I'll never find out. But it looks to me, given the length of what I saw there, that it's the Pit plus commercials. So I don't want that. Forget it. So then the Pit runs on Crave on Sunday nights, 3 nights later, and it says new. So that's the first time they're showing it. Or you can watch it on demand on Friday morning. Okay? So all of those things are happening at the same time. And I don't know what the licensing agreement is. Welcome to Canada. Like,
right.
You never know. You never know if something is going to be there forever, the done deal, or if something's going to swap at the last minute and it's going to go somewhere else.
Now, Canada's had a recent hit with Heated Rivalry as far as like being a Canadian produced show produced by Crave. It's a Crave original, as they call it, right? Which means they paid for the production of it. It's based on it's the same guy who did Letterkenny and Shoresy, so it's like an established Canadian showrunner. Apparently, I'd heard that they tried pitching it to some American networks and they weren't comfortable with it, or they were like too risque for them or whatever. Yep. But it is a genuine hit overseas. Like any English-speaking country, I hear people in Australia and Britain talking about it. In the US, it's a huge hit everywhere. So I believe it's probably making Crave quite a bit of money right now. And so obviously they're going to keep doing that. Do you think that's going to like start them down a path of like more locally produced shows, more Canadian content on their channel?
It's the first hit we've had like that in the entire history. Like, is that the first breakout hit coming from produced on Crave? Probably like worldwide hit.
Yeah, but it's similar to, I would say, Trailer Park Boys in that it like that was showcase right back in the day. There was it got a thing though. It was Canadian produced comedy that hit around the world. But it does not happen very often. Like that's the only other one I can think of. Yeah, and of course the Beachcombers. No.
Yeah. And well, I'm even Corner Gas. It went to the US, but it never did. Like people weren't talking about it at all. It remained a Canadian phenomenon. Let me think. I'm sure there's something that we're missing here that happened. Oh, CBC. Oh, remember Little Mosque on the Prairie? And everybody is like, oh, this is going to be huge. It's going to be, and it had a premiere in New York and et cetera, et cetera. And then it just kind of did what all Canadian shows do, which is get worse and worse until nobody watched it anymore. But I think it had an initial bit of publicity and then it just kind of died off in the US.
Yep.
But apart from that, Caillou, the bald cartoon. I'm just trying to think. What else? What else? Yeah.
Gives convenience.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen very much, but that's I'm just thinking like the way this works, they're going to be like, oh my God, we've got to hit, we've got to capitalize on this, and so they're going to be pitching a bunch of shows now, a bunch of gay hockey shows.
They're going to do gay golf. Gay football. They're gonna bring gay to all the sports.
Yeah.
I think that's
I was funny
probably.
that they're doing a Young Blood remake. Did you see that coming
Yeah.
out?
Oh God. Yeah.
So it's like now hockey's a big thing again. Hockey movies. That's exciting. Because of course, probably because the US won gold at the Olympics, and now they're excited about hockey for a bit.
I believe Roger Ebert once said like signs that the movie you're going to see are bad, and one of his rules is if the main character is named Young Blood, it's going to be a bad movie.
So, but yeah, I don't know. It's not a good. I don't think this merger is a good thing. I was frustrated that anything was happening. I wish they would just leave it alone. Like I always wanted Warner Brothers. I kind of always thought this would happen, that the studios would each develop their own streaming service, the major studios in the US, and they kind of did, except something like Netflix became a streaming service on its own and then became a studio based on its popularity. So it came at it from the other direction, but they are essentially the same thing in that they're creating movies and TV shows, putting it out there for an audience, and then trying to make money from it. It's just a matter of, will you pay a subscription fee for it, or will you watch advertising, or do both? Basically, as Crave is asking you to do with their ad-supported service, which is still $9.99 a month. And the same thing Netflix is doing and Prime is doing, right? Paying for ad-supported content, which I guess people seem okay with doing.
See, and I'm okay to a point, except like on Gem where they just kill you with the same ad and they insert the ads badly.
Now,
like
is
that,
there an option for Gem to not have ads? Can you
yeah,
get
you
rid of
can pay.
Okay. So do you also get, that's where you get the News World, or not News World, sorry, the news channel as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you get all this, everything on CBC, the Olympics, for instance. Like there was times when I could not find the Olympic sport I wanted to see on TV. Like, you know what that's like. You're just going, you're like, where the hell are the damn Olympics? It's impossible. And then it's like a gold medal game, and you're like, well, I want to see this. And so I would go to Gem and they would have it there. And it was fine. It was fine watching the sports. And people were complaining about too many ads. But on Gem, that was not I think maybe they took the complaints to heart. And by the time I tuned in, there weren't any ads. Whatever it was I wanted to watch. Downhill skiing. I don't know. Something like that. Whatever it was. I was not bombarded by ads on the live event. So you know, like you could see this work. If with just some programming fixes, with the programming as in like the actual user interface and user experience, if they could fix some of that stuff, I do think that CBC Gem with the live events and everything else, yeah, I could see it replacing CBC as a channel, probably pretty soon. But they just need to make some minor fixes, and maybe it should be free to Canadians. If it was free to Canadians, like that would be, I actually think that would rocket to the top of everybody's favorite streaming app.
Probably
in Canada. Yeah.
If you can make it ad free and then free to watch, right? That's
right.
Yeah, I get it. I agree. I think that's a good move. But I don't know that other TV channels can do that. Like I said, the private companies are struggling. Like CBC is in the luxury, they have funding, right? They do right now with this government anyway. But the funding is not stable for Chorus, for Bell, for Rogers, these three media companies in Canada that own the other TV networks. They're all struggling because their legacy media is failing, right? Cable TV and radio. And so the answer should be a streaming service. That's what and I guess again they're doing Stack TV. I guess that's supposed to be. I don't know what Rogers is doing. I don't know if they're doing anything. I feel like was Show Me Rogers. I really want to know what Show Me was.
I mean, I was actually surprised when I saw the Hollywood Reporter wrote about it.
Yeah,
like that's like a classic. It should be a Canadian news outlet that goes after this, because like the first thing I did when I heard about the agreement or the potential merger is I went online and I went, what does this mean for Canada? And all I got was ridiculous AI overviews that didn't make any sense. I couldn't find any real articles on it. Every single person at the top of Google Ads who has a site that tells you what's on every streaming channel, like pops to the top, and it's just pointless. So the other day I just happened upon the Hollywood Reporter's article, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is the bet, probably and really it comes down to let's wait and see is like, whatever it takes. Yeah.
Because clearly the person started wanting to get some answers and they couldn't get any answers.
Right.
Because those responses are so canned and like Oh, so I hate the responses they got from Bell and that kind of stuff. But it's like, well, yeah, obviously they want to keep paying for HBO content. That's their big seller. They're gonna keep doing it as long as they can, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think probably they're just gonna keep renewing it until something changes. But what I hope happens is I hope Crave starts if like say they do lose HBO. I hope that means they start putting that money into making local content instead of trying to license something else that they think to replace it, which is probably what they would do. But I would rather see more Canadian content made, more locally produced. The one movie that I really want to see that I have not been able to go see is that Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie.
Yeah.
That's in theaters right now, and I keep hearing about it. It sounds really good. It's really exciting. It's an independent Canadian film. And again, it's not available at the theater near me. It's like all the way across the city. I'd have to drive because there's only one theater in Winnipeg, and that's a cheap situation as well, right? Whereas I guess I'll have to wait for it to come to streaming. But that'll be on Crave. That'll be on Crave as soon as they can get it, because that's what Crave does. They will go and try, especially the Canadian movies. They do make a point of putting lots of CanCon on Crave as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Revolution will be televised.
If you don't have Crave, you're missing out on exclusive HBO originals.
Whoa, Nelly. Do you like this?
How am I the bad guy?
The latest hit movies. And groundbreaking shows. It's all here. Get Crave now and don't miss out. Plans for mobile starting at $9.99 per month.
Is it recommendation time?
Now let's move on to recommendations.
I thought you summarized it nicely there.
All right, let's move on. You go first. I can't think of something.
I'm going to recommend a rare animated show. Although I think I did recommend Bluey at one point, and I'm gonna recommend another animated show from Disney Plus in Canada. I think it must be everywhere, and that is by Pixar of all things, a show called Win or Lose. Have you heard of this show?
Yeah, I saw it advertised. What?
Yeah, and so I saw it on a list. Once in a while, I'll search the internet and I'll say, what are the best shows on Disney Plus or whatever? And you start to see a consensus about what's good. And this show popped up a lot on people's lists. So I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And it is the animation frankly blew me away. It's been a while since I've seen a Pixar film, I have to say, since COVID, I think.
Oh, wow.
And so the first thing was the animation, which I thought, like, at times I was just like, when it's not the cartoonized face of somebody or something like that, it just looks so incredibly real that I realized that I'd sort of sat out a revolution in animation that I didn't realize I missed. Okay, so it looks great. And I think, I found the content like classic bingeable show where I was like, okay, cool. And then you watch the second episode, you're like, oh, even more cool. And as you continue, it got even more compelling to watch. So, and that doesn't usually happen for me with an animated show, but, and it's kind of like I think it must be a spinoff. I can't remember the name of the Pixar movie where the girl or the main characters got internal emotions that
Inside Out.
Yeah. So Win or Lose is like, I don't know if it's a spinoff, but it's like a play on the same kind of idea, which is at a baseball game, everybody there has their own internal motivations and demons and worries and everything else and things that make them happy and things that make them sad. And it all comes together at a baseball game where they all show up together. And I just it's like a kid's animated Rashomon where you're like, what's happening? What you think is happening in the baseball game isn't happening in the baseball game. So I really like to Win or Lose, and it's rare for me to even think about an animated show. So
that's very
love
cool.
it. Yeah.
All right.
How about you?
I'm going to recommend a show I started watching on Prime called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. You heard of this one?
Sorry, what was the platform?
It's on Prime, Amazon Prime, and it's called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. And
I have heard the name.
Yeah, I don't know actors who you would recognize a lot of the actors, a lot of British actors. It's a British series, and it's got a very cool premise in that it's a historical drama, takes place during the Napoleonic Wars. So like when Napoleon is trying to invade Britain, and the premise is that magic exists but it's been not practiced for hundreds of years. And now there's just like all these academics who've studied like the history of magic, but they don't know how to actually do it. And then Mr. Norrell is this guy who actually has studied what they call practical magic, not to be confused with the Sandra Bullock movie. But basically, he knows how to actually do it. He's figured out by studying over years and years and years how to actually cast spells and do different things. So now he's trying to come forward with his skills and offer them up to the British government to help in the war, which is an interesting idea. And then Jonathan Strange is another guy who's just naturally good at magic. He has got like a natural talent for it. He doesn't need a lot of books. He just needs to kind of know what he has to do, and he kind of can do it. So it's kind of, he's got this really good instinct for magic. And so that he's paired up, and it's kind of like an odd couple thing where he's kind of this goofy, funny guy, and Mr. Norrell is very strict, and we only practice respectable magic, none of that fairy stuff, because apparently there's something to do with fairies. I'm sure fairies will come in at some point, but it's this interesting idea of like, it's a magical world, but also like historical, and it is like factual, and like the things that are happening are things that really happen, so it feels real, but it's just very, very well done. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell on Prime. It's great.
Oh, excellent. Good recommendation.
All right. There we go. All right. That's going to do it for this episode of The Media Nerds. I'm Dan Vanderbunker.
I'm Kenton Larson. Don't let the door hit you on the ass.